And then when I went to the Redbacks and the opportunity come at 21, of course you're not going to give it up. But I've probably seen it as that role, like, okay, now I'm the best player on the team, which is you quickly find out that that's not the reasons why you're a captain. I think I had those capabilities. It was just about learning the difference between doing 17s and 19s to doing senior, working with adults and men, and it's a completely different caper now. It's something that I've developed over the years. I've got a huge respect for it. I love doing it. It's an extremely tough role, but it's more man-managed environments you create, relationships you create, communication and being able to listen. It's not necessarily going out. I can go out and perform, and that's what I try to do. I try to earn respect within the group at the start. Try to go out and learn off something like Maxi Klinger and Johan Bota, who guys that went out and performed and did it on the big stage and was able to go out and perform and lead from the front as a captain. That's how I think I earned my respect in the early couple of years, and then as I slowly learnt the role more so, being able to listen, communicate, build relationships, it was something I wasn't very strong at the start, and I really struggled with that. And I think as I grew into the role and got more of an understanding of that, I got more of respect for it.
Well, you may have answered some of what I'm about to ask, but what were some of the common mistakes that you felt you made early on, and then so what were those lessons that you learned along the way that would be crucial, and you'd almost signpost for anyone who's trying to get into leadership roles and captaincy, and whether that's even, do you know what, whether it's in sport or it can even transfer out of sport, you know?
Yeah, I think the obvious one would be respect within the group. I hadn't got a first class 100 at that stage. I think I averaged 27 or 28, right. So it was a huge learning, like, and then walking out and trying to have to speak in front of guys, whether or not they believed in it or not. But there's that self. I guess you're worried about what people think. There's anxiety around that sort of side of things, whether you have the respect of the group, whether you respect yourself. So definitely learning that, and then probably the other one was relationships with my mates. Being able to talk to my mate about being left out or why he isn't bowling.
You mean outside of cricket or within cricket?
Mates within my cricket. So dealing with some of my closest mates, Cambridge Sam, Zampa, guys that I got along with really, really well, to flipping it and either telling Kane he's not bowling or Zamps he's not bowling, or why someone's not getting a bowl, or why they're out of the team. And being able to balance that act, I struggle with a lot. Yeah. Feeling like if I told them something negative, that it would affect our relationship or my mateship. So being able to divide the two from a working relationship and a mate relationship was really difficult for me. And then I think as I grew in the role and respected it more and build those relationships better, to have better conversations, definitely was a flick the switch moment for me, probably 2 years into being able to be like, I've got this. I feel like I've got the respect of the group, which then develops your relationships, develops the communication skills, and then you can move forward and know that you're not affecting the outside stuff.
You're also hoping that they respect, like they have that respect as well. Like, so you can respect them, you hope they respect you, but also you hope that they are taking their ego out of it a little bit.
And I think they were. And I think it was just as a young person, I just didn't know how to have those conversations, or was either scared of them or didn't want to put it the wrong way. And then and when they affect you, when you're not as confident as you can be in those conversations, that can affect you, regardless of what the other guy's doing. So I think everyone is in the right space, but when you go home, you just I think I stressed over it, because I was someone who went from a 21-year-old who sort of, my role in the team was to have a laugh and get the environment up and have a beer and just enjoy things, to then trying to be the leader of the team and being like the right moments at night and to pull my head in a little bit. It changed quite quick. So I went from up the top to trying to stay as level as I can, and whether it changed me or whatnot. And you stress about all those things, because I have a fear of missing out and all those. You're just a kid, so I still am. So But understanding that and developing them skills is a strong point for me. I think it's something that I learned a lot.
This takes a lot of courage to do that to your mates as well. Like, it takes a fair set of balls to be able to do that. Was there anything you were kind of like telling yourself in, because even if you're visualising walking into a conversation like that, that's going to bring some sort of like level of anxiety for someone, even no matter how good of friends you are. So was there something that you almost told yourself, almost in prep for those conversations, that was it for the betterment of the team, and hopefully that sort of you're both on that level? But yeah, what sort of conversation are you having with yourself to gear yourself up for that?
Yeah, I've built really good relationships with all the guys, so there's no easy or hard. There's no easy conversations to have with guys when it's at that space. So think you just got to believe in the path that you're going, either with the team and the environment. I guess you're the leader of it, so you got to try and drive a standard. You've got other leaders around you as well. So I think if whether I had the conversation or when you're talking back home, if Alex Carey or Kane, leaders of the team, you can back that up. And whether or not he turns around and disagrees, it's the environment of the group. So I think you try and build that over a period of time, and I think that's what we've been able to do at home. And it makes those conversations easier. If you believe in what you're talking about, and basically you're not bullshitting him, and it's consistent and clear. I think that's when it's inconsistent. I think as a young cricketer, as a young leader, I was more so probably inconsistent in my conversations. Would try to say the things to please him, and it would contradict either someone else, or it wasn't clear as in the path that we're going. But now if Dizzy says something and I'm consistent with Dizzy and he's consistent with Tim Nielsen and the selectors and whatnot, then it's a clearer path. It's an easier conversation to have, and then also being able to have the development of the conversation, so being able to ask them the right questions or answer the right questions in the right way. So it is that. So I find it a lot easier now, with a clearer plan and a clearer understanding of leadership, or whether the group wants to take us to being able to have that conversation with the guys and think that respect goes both ways and they can see the same path that we're trying to take. Yes, sometimes it can be hard, but they can be frustrated as well. I've been in tough conversations in the last little period as well. So if you can see the path, you take a deep breath, and a week later or 2 weeks later or maybe a couple of days later or a couple of hours, they work it out. And I've done the same thing, and then you reflect and you go, okay, yep, I can see where they're going, and then you crack on. And that's what you hope for in those conversations. You hope guys crack on and move forward.